Dr. Samantha Chen squinted at the monitor, her eyes straining in the dim light of the observatory's control room. The radio telescope array had picked up an anomalous signal, unlike anything she'd seen in her 15 years at SETI. Her heart raced as she cross-referenced the data with known celestial phenomena. "Holy shit," she whispered, her fingers flying across the keyboard. "This can't be right." The signal was moving. Fast. And it was headed straight for Earth. Within hours, observatories and space agencies worldwide confirmed Dr. Chen's findings. A massive object, easily the size of Manhattan, was hurtling through the solar system on a direct course for Earth. News spread like wildfire, and humanity collectively held its breath. As the object drew closer, more details emerged. It was unmistakably artificial, a colossal spaceship of alien origin. Panic gripped the globe, but amid the chaos, a spark of excitement ignited. We were not alone in the universe, and first contact was imminent. World leaders scrambled to form a united front. Dr. Chen found herself thrust into the spotlight, advising a hastily assembled international task force. In a secure bunker beneath Geneva, she stood before a panel of grim-faced politicians and military brass. "The vessel will enter Earth orbit in approximately 72 hours, she explained, gesturing to a holographic projection. "We've detected no hostile actions thus far, but we're dealing with an unknown entity possessing technology far beyond our own." General Zhao, representing China's military interests, leaned forward. "And what do you suggest we do, Doctor? Roll out the red carpet?" Dr. Chen met his gaze steadily. "I suggest we try to communicate. They've traveled an unimaginable distance. If their intentions were purely hostile, why not simply destroy us from afar?" As if on cue, every screen in the room flickered. A cacophony of alien sounds filled the air, accompanied by rapidly shifting geometric patterns. Dr. Chen's eyes widened as she realized what they were witnessing. "It's them," she breathed. "They're trying to establish contact." For the next 48 hours, linguists and cryptographers worked around the clock to decipher the alien transmission. Progress was frustratingly slow, but patterns began to emerge. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source, a teenage prodigy named Aiden Kamar, who recognized similarities between the alien language and mathematical concepts. With Aiden's insight, a rudimentary form of communication was established. The first clear message from the aliens sent shockwaves through humanity. "We come seeking aid. Our world is dying. You are our last hope." The revelation sparked intense debate. Some saw it as an opportunity for peaceful exchange and advancement. Others, like General Zhao, viewed it as a potential trick, a ploy to lower Earth's defenses. As the alien ship entered orbit, Dr. Chen led a team to compose a response. They transmitted a message of cautious welcome, along with a request for the aliens to maintain their distance until further communication protocols could be established. The reply came swiftly. "Understood. We will comply. Time is short. Please hurry." The next 24 hours were a whirlwind of activity. A secure communication link was established, and a flurry of information was exchanged. The aliens, calling themselves the Zorans, shared glimpses of their dying world, a planet choked by pollution and ravaged by climate change. Dr. Chen couldn't help but see parallels with Earth's own environmental struggles. "They're us," she murmured to Aiden as they pored over the data. "Just a few centuries ahead on the same path." As more was learned about the Zorans, public opinion began to shift. Images of their haggard, almost humanoid forms tugged at heartstrings. Their story of a civilization on the brink of extinction resonated with many. But suspicions lingered. Why had the Zorans chosen Earth? How had they found us? And what exactly did they expect humanity to do? The answers came in a transmission that left Dr. Chen and her team stunned. The Zorans hadn't randomly stumbled upon Earth. They had been watching us for centuries, monitoring our progress. They chose us because, in their words, of all the species we've encountered, humans possess a unique resilience and adaptability. You face adversity with innovation and determination. We believe you can succeed where we failed. It was a moment of profound impact for humanity. An advanced alien civilization, capable of crossing the stars, was turning to us for help. It was both terrifying and exhilarating. As governments debated the next steps, Dr. Chen received permission to lead a small delegation to meet the Zorans face-to-face. A shuttle was prepared, and a team was assembled: scientists, diplomats, and a military escort. Standing before the airlock, Dr. Chen took a deep breath. Aiden, who had earned a spot on the team through his brilliance, stood beside her, vibrating with nervous energy. "Ready to make history, kid?" she asked with a smile. Aiden gulped and nodded. "Born ready, Doc." The airlock cycled, and they stepped into the unknown. The interior of the Zoran ship was a marvel of organic technology, pulsing with an ethereal bioluminescence. And there, waiting to greet them, stood the Zorans themselves. They were tall, willowy creatures with iridescent skin and large, expressive eyes. A Zoran stepped forward, raising a six-fingered hand in greeting. Its voice, translated through a device, was filled with both hope and desperation. "Welcome, humans. We thank you for your courage in meeting us. Our fate, and perhaps the fate of all sentient life, now rests in your hands." Dr. Chen straightened her shoulders, feeling the weight of this moment in history. "We're honored to meet you," she replied. "We have much to discuss and much to learn from each other. Whatever challenges lie ahead, we'll face them together." As humans and Zorans began their historic dialogue, the first steps were taken on a journey that would reshape the destiny of both species. The road ahead was uncertain, filled with potential pitfalls and wonders alike. But one thing was clear: humanity's resilience and ingenuity were about to be tested on a cosmic scale. And deep in the hearts of every human present, a fierce determination took hold. They would rise to this challenge. They would save the Zorans, and in doing so, perhaps save themselves. Not a single one, human or alien, would be left behind. The initial euphoria of first contact quickly gave way to a sobering reality. As Dr. Samantha Chen and her team delved deeper into discussions with the Zorans, the true scale of the challenge became apparent. Aboard the Zoran vessel, now in stable orbit around Earth, Dr. Chen sat across from the alien leader, a being who called itself Thiel. Aiden Kamal, the young prodigy, furiously took notes as the conversation unfolded. "Our world is not just dying," Thiel explained, its large eyes reflecting a deep sorrow. "It is beyond salvation. We need a new home, and Earth is the only viable option we found." Dr. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. "You're talking about colonization?" Thiel's translator crackled. "Coexistence. We have the technology to terraform portions of your world to suit our needs without disrupting your ecosystems. But we require significant resources and cooperation." The implications were staggering. Dr. Chen's mind raced, considering the potential benefits: advanced technology, medical breakthroughs, a leap forward in space exploration. But the costs. "How many of you are there?" she asked, dreading the answer. "Our entire species is aboard this ship," Thiel replied. 10 million souls." The number hung in the air like a death sentence. 10 million aliens, needing food, water, and space on an already strained planet. As the human delegation returned to Earth, heated debates erupted in the United Nations. Dr. Chen presented the Zoran proposal to a packed assembly, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "The Zorans offer us technology beyond our wildest dreams," she concluded. "But they need vast tracts of land, primarily in less populated areas. They suggest the Sahara, parts of Australia, and regions of Siberia." The uproar was immediate. Representatives from affected nations vehemently opposed the idea. Others saw opportunity, a chance to solve Earth's energy crisis, to cure diseases, to reach the stars. In Washington, D.C., President Evelyn Marsh faced the press, her face a mask of determination. We stand at a crossroads of history, she declared. The choice before us is clear. Embrace this opportunity for advancement and mes planetno subtrudnichestvo, or risk the consequences of turning away a desperate species with technology far beyond our own. The speech was diplomatic, but the underlying message was clear. The Zorans weren't just asking, they were powerful enough to take what they needed if pushed. As nations bickered, the scientific community rallied. Dr. Chen found herself working alongside brilliant minds from around the world, all focused on finding a solution that could satisfy both humans and Zorans. Aiden, fueled by endless cups of coffee, had a breakthrough. "What if we don't give them Earth?" he exclaimed, bursting into Dr. Chen's office. "What if we help them build a new home instead?" The idea was audacious. Use Zoran technology and human ingenuity to terraform Mars or another celestial body. It would be the greatest engineering project in human history. When presented to Axile, the Zoran leader's reaction was mixed. An intriguing proposal, it admitted, but time is not on our side. Our life support systems are failing. We have, at most, 5 of your Earth years before we face extinction. The ultimatum was set: 5 years to achieve what humanity had only dreamed of, or face an influx of desperate aliens fighting for survival. As Dr. Chen relayed this information to world leaders, the atmosphere grew tense. Some nations began mobilizing their militaries, citing self-defense. Others threw themselves into the terraforming project, seeing it as the only viable path forward. In a secure facility in Nevada, a team led by Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked tirelessly on adapting Zoran technology for Earth use. "If we can crack their energy production methods," she explained to Dr. Chen during a video call, "we could solve our own climate crisis and power the Mars project." But progress was frustratingly slow. The Zorans shared their knowledge, but much of it was so advanced it might as well have been magic. Aiden, working alongside Dr. Rodriguez, often found himself staring at equations that seemed to defy the laws of physics as he understood them. Meanwhile, public opinion was sharply divided. Protests erupted in major cities, with some demanding the Zorans leave immediately, while others welcomed them as saviors. Conspiracy theories ran rampant, fueled by grainy photos of Zorans visiting Earth under heavy guard. 3 months into the 5-year deadline, disaster struck. A radical group, calling themselves Earth First, managed to launch a missile at the Zoran ship. Though the aliens' defenses easily neutralized the threat, the political fallout was immense. Xyle demanded an immediate meeting with Earth's leaders. In a tense video conference, the aliens' usual calm demeanor was replaced with barely contained fury. "We came to you in peace, seeking aid." Katao's words crackled through translators worldwide. "We have been patient. We have shared knowledge, and this is how we are repaid." Dr. Chen, present at the conference, felt her heart sink. Everything they had worked for was unraveling. Xyle continued, its voice growing colder. "We gave you a choice out of respect, but our options are limited. We need a home, with or without your cooperation. You have 48 hours to provide us with a unified answer. Help us terraform Mars, or we begin landing procedures on Earth." As the transmission cut off, stunned silence filled the room. The Secretary-General of the UN turned to Dr. Chen, his face ashen. "Doctor, what are our options?" Dr. Chen took a deep breath, her mind racing. She thought of the countless hours of work, the potential for a leap forward in human development, and the very real threat of conflict that could devastate both species. "We have one option," she said firmly. "We do the impossible. We unite our planet, pool our resources, and we terraform Mars, not just for the Zorans, but for humanity's future." As she spoke, a plan began to form. It would require unprecedented cooperation, scientific breakthroughs, and a level of determination humanity had never before achieved. But as she looked around the room, seeing the mix of fear and resolve on the faces of Earth's leaders, Dr. Chen felt a glimmer of hope. "Get me Aiden and Dr. Rodriguez," she said, pulling out her tablet. "We have work to do." As the world held its breath, awaiting the response to the Zoran ultimatum, humanity stood on the brink of its greatest challenge and its greatest opportunity. The next 48 hours would determine the fate of two civilizations and potentially reshape the solar system itself. The next 48 hours were a whirlwind of activity. As the world waited with bated breath, Dr. Samantha Chen found herself at the center of a daring plan that would push the boundaries of human courage and ingenuity. In a secure underground facility, Dr. Chen stood before a hastily assembled team of the world's brightest minds and most skilled operatives. The air was thick with tension and the acrid smell of stale coffee. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite her racing heart, "what I'm about to propose is unprecedented and frankly terrifying, but it may be our only chance to save both our species and the Zorans." She laid out the plan: Operation Trojan Horse. A small team would secretly board the Zoran ship under the guise of a diplomatic mission. Their real objective: to gather crucial data about Zoran technology and biology that could accelerate the Mars terraforming project. Aiden Kamar, his young face a mix of excitement and fear, raised his hand. "You want us to spy on them? Won't that just make things worse if we're caught?" Dr. Chen nodded grimly. "It's a risk we have to take. We need their knowledge, and we need it fast. This isn't just about saving them anymore, it's about saving ourselves." The team was assembled quickly. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the brilliant physicist who had been working on Zoran energy tech; Captain Maya Patel, a decorated Special Forces operator with a background in xenobiology; Dr. Jamal Okafor, a linguistic expert who had made significant progress in understanding the nuances of Zoran communication. And despite protests from many, Aiden Kamar, whose unique insight into Zoran mathematics made him invaluable. As the team prepared, world leaders presented a unified front to the Zorans. They agreed to the Mars terraforming project, buying precious time and goodwill. But behind the scenes, Operation Trojan Horse was in full swing. The day of the mission arrived all too soon. Dr. Chen watched anxiously as the team boarded the shuttle that would take them to the Zoran ship. Captain Patel gave a confident salute. Dr. Rodriguez clutched her specialized scanning equipment, and Aiden looked like he might be sick. "Remember," Dr. Chen said, gripping Aiden's shoulder, "you're not just representing Earth. You're representing the best of humanity. Your curiosity, your adaptability, your determination. Make us proud." The journey to the Zoran ship was tense but uneventful. As they docked, Exile greeted them personally, its large eyes unreadable. "We are pleased by your world's decision," it said through the translator. "There is much to discuss about the future of Mars." The team was led through winding corridors of pulsing organic technology. Dr. Rodriguez's scanners, disguised as standard scientific equipment, worked overtime. Captain Patel's keen eyes noted every detail of the ship's layout. Dr. Okafor engaged their Zoran guides in seemingly casual conversation, probing for information. Aiden, meanwhile, found himself drawn to the ship's central computer core. As Exile proudly showed off their technological marvels, Aiden's fingers itched to interface with the alien systems. He saw patterns in the flowing data streams that reminded him of the mathematical concepts he'd been studying. "Fascinating," he murmured, reaching out to touch a glowing panel. Suddenly, alarms blared. The team froze as Zoran guards surrounded them, weapons raised. Exile's expression shifted from welcoming to furious. "What is the meaning of this?" it demanded. "You dare to attempt access to our most sensitive systems." Captain Potel stepped forward, her hand hovering near her concealed weapon. Dr. Okafor began rapidly translating, trying to defuse the situation, but it was Aiden who surprised everyone. "Wait," he shouted, his voice cracking with emotion. "I wasn't trying to hack anything. I think I can help you." All eyes turned to the young prodigy. Aiden took a deep breath and continued, "Your ship's systems, they're degrading faster than you've told us, aren't they? I can see it in the data patterns, but I think I know how to stabilize them." A tense silence fell over the room. Exile's large eyes narrowed, studying Aiden intently. How could you possibly understand our technology to that degree? Aiden's mind raced, drawing connections between Zoran math and the advanced theories he'd been studying. He began explaining, his words a mix of Earth physics and alien concepts. Dr. Rodriguez jumped in, her own brilliant mind building on Aiden's insights. As they talked, the hostility in the room gradually shifted to curiosity, then to cautious hope. Exile's expression softened. Perhaps, it said slowly, we have underestimated you humans. Over the next several hours, an unprecedented exchange of knowledge took place. The pretense of espionage fell away as human and Zoran scientists worked side by side, tackling the immediate problem of the ship's failing systems and the larger challenge of terraforming Mars. Dr. Chen, watching the live feed from Earth, felt a surge of pride. This, she realized, was humanity at its best, adaptive, creative, and unafraid to reach across the stars to forge a connection. But as the team delved deeper into Zoran technology, they made a startling discovery. The Zorans' home world hadn't been destroyed by natural causes or mere pollution. It had been ravaged by a war with another, even more advanced alien species. Captain Patel, ever vigilant, pulled Dr. Chen aside during a private communication. "Ma'am," she said, her voice low, "we may have a bigger problem than we thought. If these hostiles followed the Zorans here..." Dr. Chen felt a chill run down her spine. The captain didn't need to finish the thought. Earth might soon face a threat far beyond anything they had imagined. As the team prepared to return to Earth, laden with new knowledge and grave concerns, Dr. Chen knew that the real challenges were just beginning. They had taken a crucial step towards saving the Zorans and terraforming Mars, but they had also stumbled upon a secret that could change everything. The fate of two species now hung in the balance, and the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. The return of the Trojan Horse team to Earth was met with a mixture of triumph and trepidation. As Dr. Samantha Chen debriefed world leaders on the mission's findings, a palpable sense of unease filled the room. "The good news," she explained, her voice steady despite her exhaustion, "is that we've made significant breakthroughs in understanding Zoran technology. With their cooperation, the Mars terraforming project is now feasible within our 5-year deadline." A murmur of relief rippled through the assembled dignitaries, but it was short-lived. However, Dr. Chen continued, her expression grave, "We've also uncovered a threat that puts both our species at risk. The Zorans are refugees from an interstellar war, and their enemies may not be far behind." The revelation sent shockwaves through Earth's governments. Some advocated for immediately distancing humanity from the Zorans, while others argued for accelerating joint defense preparations. As debates raged, Dr. Chen and her team threw themselves into their work, knowing that time was of the essence. Months passed, and progress on the Mars project was nothing short of miraculous. Massive terraforming engines, a fusion of human and Zoran technology, were constructed in orbit and sent to the Red Planet. Aiden Kamar, now recognized as one of the leading experts in Zoran mathematics, worked tirelessly alongside Dr. Elena Rodriguez to optimize the terraforming process. But even as humanity reached for the stars, trouble was brewing closer to home. Anti-alien sentiment, fueled by fear and uncertainty, was on the rise. Protests turned violent in several major cities. A fringe group calling themselves the Earth First Militia gained traction, advocating for the forceful expulsion of the Zorans. Then, on a warm summer night, disaster struck. A series of coordinated attacks hit Zoran outposts on Earth, killing several aliens and destroying vital equipment. The Earth First Militia claimed responsibility, broadcasting a chilling message. "Humanity will not be a pawn in an alien war. Leave our planet or face the consequences." The attacks threatened to unravel everything Dr. Chen and her team had worked for. Exile, speaking on behalf of the Zorans, demanded immediate action. "We came to you in peace. the alien leader declared, its normally melodious voice harsh with anger. "If you cannot protect us, we will protect ourselves." As tensions escalated, Dr. Chen found herself in the Oval Office, facing a grim-faced President Marsh. "Doctor," the president said, her voice heavy with the weight of command, "I'm authorizing the formation of a special task force. Your team's expertise will be crucial. We need to root out these extremists before they spark an interspecies war." And so the human resistance was born, not fighting against the aliens, but against the fear and hatred that threatened to tear their alliance apart. Captain Maya Patel took the lead on the military side, working with a hand-picked team of operatives from around the world. Dr. Jamal Okafor's linguistic skills proved invaluable in decoding encrypted communications between militia cells. And Aiden, much to his own surprise, found himself developing algorithms to predict and prevent future attacks. As the human resistance worked tirelessly to maintain peace on Earth, the Mars project continued at a breakneck pace. The red planet's atmosphere was already showing signs of transformation, with the first traces of breathable air detected by orbital sensors. But the real test came 8 months after the initial attacks. Earth First Militia, more desperate and dangerous than ever, launched a bold assault on the primary Mars Terraforming Control Center in Houston. Dr. Chen was there when the attack began, overseeing a critical phase of the terraforming process. Alarms blared as armed militants stormed the facility, their faces masked and their intentions clear. "Shut it down," the lead attacker shouted, waving a pulse rifle. "Shut down the alien tech, or we'll do it for you." For a moment, panic threatened to overwhelm the control room. But then something remarkable happened. Dr. Rodriguez stepped forward, her voice calm but filled with steel. "You want to shut it down," she challenged. "Fine, but first, let me show you exactly what you're destroying." With a few quick keystrokes, she brought up a holographic display of Mars. The red planet slowly transformed before their eyes, showing the projected results of their work: blue oceans, green continents, and a breathable atmosphere. "This isn't just for the Zorans," Dr. Chen added, finding her own courage. "This is humanity's future, our backup plan, our next great frontier." The militants hesitated, their resolve visibly shaken. Captain Patel, who had arrived with a counter-terror team, seized the moment. In a swift and precise operation, she neutralized a threat with minimal bloodshed. As the dust settled, Dr. Chen realized that they had just won a crucial battle, not just against the militants, but against the fear they represented. The incident, broadcast worldwide, began to shift public opinion. Humans and Zorans working side by side to create a new world struck a chord with millions. In the days that followed, support for the Mars project soared. Volunteers from every nation signed up to be part of the first wave of colonists. The Earth First Militia, exposed and discredited, saw its support crumble. But even as humanity celebrated this victory, a new threat loomed on the horizon. Deep space monitoring stations, enhanced with Zoran technology, detected an anomaly at the edge of the solar system. Something was coming, something large, fast, and undoubtedly alien. Dr. Chen stood in the Houston control room, watching the incoming data with a mixture of fear and determination. Aiden, his young face etched with worry, looked up at her. "What do we do now, Dr. Chen?" She took a deep breath, her mind already racing with possibilities. "We do what humanity does best, Aiden. We adapt, we innovate, and we face this threat together, humans and Zorans united." As the unknown object drew closer, Earth and its unlikely allies braced for what might be their greatest challenge yet. But for the first time since the Zorans arrived, Dr. Chen felt a glimmer of true hope. They had overcome their own fears and divisions. Now, they were ready to face whatever the cosmos might throw at them. The human resistance had evolved into something greater, a testament to the indomitable spirit of two species united in their determination to forge a future among the stars. The unidentified object hurtling towards Earth was no longer just a blip on a sensor. As it entered the solar system, its true nature became terrifyingly clear: a massive battleship, bristling with weapons beyond human comprehension. In a secure bunker beneath Geneva, Dr. Samantha Chen stood before a holographic display, her face illuminated by the ominous red glow of the approaching threat. World leaders and top military brass from every nation watched in tense silence as she delivered her report. Based on Zoran intelligence and our own observations, we believe this to be a Kryvax warship, the same species responsible for destroying the Zoran homeworld, Dr. Chen explained, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Their technology is centuries beyond even what the Zorans possess. General Zhao, his face grim, spoke up. What are our options for defense? Before Dr. Chen could respond, a new voice joined the conversation. Exile, the Zoran leader, stepped into view of the holographic projectors. We have faced the Kryvax before, it said, its large eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. Conventional weapons will not stop them, but together we may have a chance. Over the next 72 hours, as the Kryvax ship drew ever closer, a desperate plan took shape. It would require every ounce of human ingenuity, every scrap of Zoran technology, and a level of cooperation unprecedented in Earth's history. The plan hinged on three key elements: a massive energy shield powered by a network of Zoran human fusion reactors to protect Earth from the initial assault; a fleet of hybrid fighters piloted by the best human and Zoran pilots to engage the Kryvax ship in space; a small infiltration team to board the Kryvax vessel and attempt to disable it from within. As the world braced for battle, Dr. Chen found herself in the heart of the action. The infiltration team would need every advantage, and that meant she and her core team would be going into space. In a hangar beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Chen watched as Aiden Kamau suited up, his young face a mask of determination. "You don't have to do this," she said softly. "You've already done more than anyone could ask." Aiden managed a small smile. "Are you kidding? Miss the chance to save two species and see alien tech up close? Not a chance." Dr. Elena Rodriguez and Dr. Jamal Okafor joined them, each carrying specialized equipment of their own design. Captain Maya Patel, who would be leading the infiltration, did a final check of their weapons, a mix of human ingenuity and Zoran energy tech. As they boarded their stealth shuttle, a message came through from President Marsh. "Godspeed," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "The hopes of two worlds go with you." The journey to the Kryvax ship was a blur of tense silence and last-minute preparations. As they approached, the true scale of the alien vessel became apparent. It was a leviathan of metal and energy, easily dwarfing anything humanity or the Zorans had ever constructed. "My God," breathed Dr. Rodriguez as she stared out the viewport. "How are we supposed to fight that?" Captain Patel's voice was steel, the same way humanity's always faced impossible odds, with courage, cleverness, and a hell of a lot of luck. Their entry point was a small maintenance hatch, identified by Zoran intelligence as a potential weakness. As Captain Patel maneuvered their shuttle into position, the battle erupted around them. Earth's hybrid fleet engaged the Kryvax ship, streaks of light crisscrossing the void as energy weapons fired. The massive shield protecting Earth flickered under the strain of enemy fire, but held for now. Inside the Kryvax ship, the infiltration team moved swiftly through alien corridors. Dr. Chen and Aiden worked in tandem, their minds racing to decipher the alien technology around them. Dr. Rodriguez's scanners proved invaluable, guiding them towards the ship's main power core. But the Kryvax were ready for them. Alien warriors, towering and armored, converged on their position. Captain Patel and her security team formed a defensive perimeter, their weapons blazing. "We'll hold them off," Patel shouted over the din of battle. "You four get to the core." Dr. Chen nodded grimly, leading her team deeper into the ship. They could hear the sounds of fighting fading behind them, and she silently prayed for her comrades' safety. Finally, they reached the core, a massive chamber pulsing with energy that defied the laws of physics as they knew them. Aiden's eyes widened as he took in the alien symbols and flowing data streams. "It's like their math is alive," he whispered in awe. But there was no time for wonder. Alarms blared, and the chamber began to lock down. They had minutes at most before they would be overwhelmed. Dr. Chen turned to her team, her eyes blazing with determination. "Hayden, Dr. Rodriguez, focus on disrupting their power systems. Dr. Okafor and I will try to access their central computer. Let's show these Krivaks what humanity can do." What followed was a frenzy of activity. Aiden's fingers flew over alien interfaces, his prodigious mind making intuitive leaps to understand and subvert the Krivak systems. Dr. Rodriguez poured every ounce of her expertise into overloading the ship's power relays. Dr. Chen and Dr. Okafor, meanwhile, engaged in a battle of wits with the Krivaks A. It was like nothing they had ever encountered, adaptive, ruthless, and terrifyingly intelligent. But slowly, painstakingly, they began to make headway. Outside, the battle raged. Earth's defenders fought with everything they had, but the Krivaks ship seemed unstoppable. The planetary shield was beginning to fail, and hope was fading. Then, just as all seemed lost, something extraordinary happened. The Krivaks ship suddenly lurched, its weapons falling silent. Across its hull, systems began to power down. Inside the core chamber, Aiden let out a whoop of triumph. "We did it. We've locked them out of their own ship." Dr. Chen allowed herself a moment of elation before the grim reality set in. "We still need to get out of here, and we can't let this technology fall into the wrong hands." As if in answer to her words, the ship's self-destruct sequence initiated. They had minutes to escape. The race back to their shuttle was a blur of adrenaline and desperation. They reunited with Captain Patel and the remaining security team, all of them battered but alive. As they fled the dying Krivaks ship, Dr. Chen took one last look back. In that moment, she saw not just the end of a threat, but the beginning of something new. Humanity and Zorans, working together, had achieved the impossible. They had faced the darkness of space and emerged victorious. As their shuttle sped back to Earth, the Krivaks ship exploded in a spectacular burst of light. Cheers erupted over the comm channels, from orbit, from Earth, and from Mars, where the terraforming project had continued even in the face of invasion. Dr. Chen looked at her team, human and Zoran alike, and felt a swell of pride. They had done more than save their worlds. They had proven that together, they could overcome any obstacle the universe might throw at them. As Earth grew larger in their viewport, Dr. Chen allowed herself to smile. The future, once so uncertain, now seemed bright with possibility. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that humanity, with its newfound allies, would face them head-on. The tide had turned, not just in this battle, but in the course of human history. A new age of exploration, cooperation, and discovery was dawning, and Dr. Samantha Chen couldn't wait to see what came next. 5 years after the Krivaks invasion, Dr. Samantha Chen stood on the surface of Mars, watching the first sunrise on a world reborn. The air was thin but breathable, the sky a pale blue tinged with lingering rusty hues. In the distance, the gleaming domes of New Providence, the first Martian city, caught the light of the distant sun. "It's beautiful," said a voice beside her. Dr. Chen turned to see Aiden Kamal, no longer the nervous prodigy but a confident young scientist. He'd grown in more ways than one since their adventure on the Krivaks ship. "That it is," Dr. Chen agreed, her voice filled with wonder. "Sometimes I still can't believe we did it." But they had done it. In the wake of the Krivaks threat, humanity and the Zorans had thrown themselves into the Mars terraforming project with renewed vigor. What had once seemed an impossible deadline was met with months to spare. Now, Mars was a second home for both species, a testament to what could be achieved through cooperation and determination. As they made their way back to the city, Dr. Chen marveled at how much had changed. The streets of New Providence were filled with a mix of humans and Zorans, going about their daily lives as if interspecies cooperation was the most natural thing in the world. In many ways, for the younger generation it was. In a large plaza at the heart of the city, a memorial stood, a sculpture of intertwined human and Zoran hands, reaching for the stars. At its base, a simple inscription read, "To those who dared to dream, and those who gave everything to make that dream a reality. Earth and Zorax, united in spirit and purpose." Dr. Chen paused before the memorial, remembering the friends and colleagues lost in the struggle against the Kravax. Captain Maya Patel had survived the battle but succumbed to her injuries weeks later. Her sacrifice, and the sacrifices of so many others, had not been in vain. A ping from her communicator brought Dr. Chen back to the present. It was a message from Exile, now serving as the Zoran ambassador to the newly formed Interplanetary Council. "Samantha, the Council is convening to discuss the Jupiter mission. Your expertise would be invaluable." Dr. Chen smiled. The Jupiter mission, a joint human-Zoran expedition to explore the possibility of terraforming some of the gas giant's moons, was the latest in a series of ambitious projects. With the combined knowledge and technology of both species, the solar system was opening up in ways no one could have imagined just a few years ago. As she and Aiden made their way to the council chambers, they passed the University of Mars, where Dr. Elena Rodriguez was giving a lecture on advanced xenophysics to a mixed class of human and Zoran students. Through a window, Dr. Chen caught a glimpse of Dr. Jamal Okafor, deep in conversation with a group of Zoran linguists, no doubt working on further refinements to the universal translator. The council chamber itself was a marvel of human and Zoran design. As Dr. Chen took her seat, she found herself next to General Zhao, the once hawkish military man, now a staunch advocate for interspecies cooperation. "Doctor," he greeted her with a nod. "I hear you have concerns about the timeline for the Europa phase of the mission." "Just some thoughts on how we might optimize our approach," Dr. Chen replied. "I've been working with a team of Zoran geologists, and we think we found a way to speed up the process without compromising safety." As the meeting progressed, Dr. Chen found herself marveling once again at how far they'd come. The discussions were lively but respectful, with humans and Zorans building on each other's ideas in a beautiful dance of intellectual collaboration. Midway through the session, a priority message came through. The Deep Space Monitoring Network, now extending far beyond Pluto, had picked up an anomalous signal. For a moment, the room fell silent, old fears resurfacing. But then Exile spoke, its voice calm and reassuring. "Whatever it is, we will face it together. We have proven that our combined strength is greater than any challenge the universe can present." Murmurs of agreement filled the room. Dr. Chen felt a swell of pride and determination. Yes, there would always be new challenges, new frontiers to explore, and perhaps new threats to face. But they were ready. As the council turned its attention to the mysterious signal, discussing plans for a joint expedition to investigate, Dr. Chen caught Aiden's eye. The young scientist was practically vibrating with excitement at the prospect of a new discovery. In that moment, Dr. Chen realized that this unquenchable thirst for knowledge, this ability to come together in the face of the unknown, this was the true legacy of their journey. They had not just saved 2 species or terraformed a planet. They had forged a new way forward, a path that led to the stars and beyond. As the meeting adjourned, Dr. Chen stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the Martian landscape. The sun was setting now, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and purple. In the gathering dusk, she could see the lights of the city coming on, a beacon of hope and progress on a once dead world. Aiden joined her, his eyes fixed on the first stars becoming visible in the darkening sky. "What do you think we'll find out there, Dr. Chen?" She smiled, putting a hand on his shoulder. "I don't know, Aiden. But I do know this. Whatever we find, we'll face it the way we faced everything else. Together, not a single one left behind." As night fell on Mars, Dr. Samantha Chen looked to the stars with a heart full of hope. The journey that had begun with a desperate plea from an alien race had led to this, a future brighter than anyone could have imagined, and it was only the beginning. Humanity, with its Zoran allies, was ready to take its place among the stars. The greatest adventure in the history of two species was just getting started.